Should teenagers be given more freedom and independence?
In our last podcast, we said something about parents failing their teenagers, and they'll be failing their teenagers unknowingly because they want to give them freedom and independence. We also said that giving them freedom and independence is good, but not to the detriment of neglecting their responsibilities. Some people might ask, what is the responsibility of a teenager?
Being responsibilities of parents to their teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's look at a few examples of parents' responsibilities. Parents have the love, they have to love their children, isn't it, and care for them. You know, they have to set the regulations and boundaries. You understand? It's the duty of parents to love their teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
It's their duty to care for them. Right? That means they need to provide for them on a daily basis. They need to set regulations and set boundaries. They have to let them know what their duties are. They have to be firm. You understand? Just to be the parents in the house. I get me. So parents should have the right not to be perfect. Most times we always, in most of our podcasts, we always talk about people, they want to be perfect before they do something. Mm-hmm. Right? Mostly some parents, they want everything to be perfect. It shouldn't be like that. Parents, they have the right not to be perfect. Do you understand? Because they can make mistakes. We all make mistakes. That's the parents' right. Do you understand? Okay, they have the right to know where their teenagers are, who they are with, who they are communicating with. Social media is all everywhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
See social medias? Kids now from 10 years old, most of them have mobile phones. Do you understand? And you see them chatting and everything. It's parents' responsibility to know who they are chatting with, who they are communicating with, who are they on the phone with. Right? So it's the responsibility of parents also to know where, whom, and what their teenager is doing. Your teenager is not home. It's out there. You're supposed to know where they are, who they are with, who are their friends, and what are they doing. It's the responsibility of a parent to do that. Do you understand? You know, parents also have the right to, should I say, demand respect from their teenagers. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So those are the few things I'll say about few responsibilities that parents have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What you forgot to say is that teenagers need guidance and they need supervision, especially from their parents and guardians. Like we pointed out in our last podcast, that if their family members are not there for them, they will seek love from outside, and it's most likely from the street, which will always end badly.
Yeah, they seek love from the street most times because they don't receive that love from their house, right? The parents didn't show them love. I don't know, because maybe they didn't have much time to spend with their teenagers. Do you understand? So most times, like what we discussed last time, the teenagers are always home themselves. Their parents, they will go to work in the morning, they come back late at night.
Mm-hmm.
And when they come back late at night, maybe it's when the teenager is going to sleep. They don't spend more time to know how their day was. They don't really spend more time to know what's happening in their lives. Maybe all they do is to give them pocket money to use. It's not money, showing them love with money. It's not really what teenagers, you understand. They need to spend more time as well to show them that love. So when they don't receive that from their parents, they might receive that from outside, which is on the street, like you said. It ends badly most times. Do you understand? So does it mean that parents should not give their teenagers freedom and responsibility?
Well, giving teenagers freedom and independence is good, but parents should still be in control in what is going on in their teen's life, because they have to always know their way about who they're with and who they are and where they are. Because as you said before, they need to know who they're talking to, where they are, where they're going.
Yeah, I understand that, but we ask that if teenagers, they need freedom, right? And independence. Yeah, they need their freedom and also they need to be encouraged to be independent. But what we can't dismiss is that there's a tendency for them to abuse that freedom. You understand? When you entrust, most times you entrust that freedom to those teenagers, there's a tendency. It depends on how do you handle it. What kind of freedom? How did you, express the freedom? How did you I don't know how to explain it. It's just like you give them freedom. Some family, you find out that they just allow their teenagers to do whatever they want to do. They say that they have that free mind for the teenagers to find their own way.
How do you mean?
For example, you see that there's some family they will tell you that they don't tell their teenagers what to do. They allow them to find themselves. Are you getting me? They go out when they want. They do whatever they want to do. Do you understand? Because they said they want to give them freedom. But there's a tendency, like I just said earlier, there's a tendency that sometimes they can, you know what I mean? They just, how will you give them the trust, right?
Mm-hmm.
They can fail you.
Yeah, sometimes they'll misuse that
trust. That's what I'm saying. They misuse it. They take advantage of that freedom that you give to them, and for you to control is out of hand. You start hearing something like parents the child is a spoiled child.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand?
That they never listen.
They don't understand.
You need to take control of them.
Yeah, because you gave them freedom. You're thinking that you're going to give them that freedom and independence.
You spoiled them.
Yeah, you understand the opportunity, then you spoil them, and it's going to be bad. I don't know you can't get it back anymore. That's what I'm saying. That was what I was just driving to. It's not bad that you should give teenagers freedom and independence, but the parent, you have to be mindful of that, for them not to misuse it or fail you. You know what I mean? So that's when I was, using the same incident of the last podcast. The parent left a packed lunch in the fridge for the teenager to eat after school. She expected her teenager to go home immediately after school, right? But here you will notice that there was a breach of trust from the teenager. Her mom trusted him to do the right thing. She had his interest in her hand. That's why she left the packed lunch for him to eat after school. But the teenager decided to wander around instead of going home after school. I don't know if you know what I mean. Yeah, he's supposed to go home after school. That was what the mom expected him to do. But he didn't do that. You understand? So having in mind that he could put himself in danger on the street. Yeah? Out there on the street, he can be hurt. He can be influenced. You know what I mean? To commit crime, to commit some, stealing and all that from peer pressure. Do you understand what I mean? So, all those things, stealing and committing those crimes can lead to criminal record, like we said in the last podcast. And once you have that criminal record, it affects your future. Most people don't really understand that. It will affect your future. Something that you did when you're teenager, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, or even 12 years old or 13. Then your life just go because of little mistake. Do you understand?
Yeah, I understand.
So that's what most of teenagers don't understand. So only if teenagers could listen to their parents or guidance sometimes and do what they are told to do, things will not turn out bad the way it's supposed to. Do you understand? Most times we're seeing teenagers being hurt and everything. Just only simple instruction. Maybe stay at home or just go home after school, or just okay, once you finish football, come back home. Or once you finish swimming or whatever you're going to do, just go straight home. But they will not listen. Do you understand? Only if they can listen. You will just change a lot of things to drive into.
Yeah, so what you're saying is that what the teenager could have done is go home, take his lunch, and don't open the door for anyone. And they should have done that instead of wandering around the streets. So we say that parents know their children more than anyone. So for the parent to allow the teenager to stay at home, they already know that the teenager is capable of taking care of himself. But if the teenager goes on and disobeys the parent, he will bear the consequences, because everyone has a responsibility. For example, your teenager has a sister or brother that they have to take care of, and your parent is a single parent, and they have to do a late shift at work. Who's the only person who can take care of their younger sibling is them. So if they end up going wandering off, there's no one that's going to be taking care of their younger sibling.
Yeah, that's what you said about the responsibility, that everybody has a responsibility. For the parent to leave the teenager, you said about taking care of the younger ones. Okay, the parents leave the teenager to take care of the younger ones. That means the parents already believed that the teenager is capable of taking care of the younger ones. Then he or she entrusts that responsibility to their teenager. Do you understand? So the teenager now, if you wander off and leave the younger ones out, do you understand? The teenager already failed the parenting. The responsibility, what happens?
They've lost it.
They've lost it. So those are the things. The teenagers does not mean that you give them freedom and everything. They need the freedom, but they have also to understand that as parents have responsibility, them teenagers, they have also their own responsibility, and every one of them, everyone have to like keep that relationship.
And the teenager's responsibility is to obey the parent and be respectful. So also they have to take care of themselves and stay out of trouble as well.
That's what I'm saying. So what you have to understand is that parents have, you said they leave them out, they have to go to work, isn't it? They have bills to pay. Parents have bills to pay. They have to provide, like we said earlier when we were starting, responsibility of parents have to take care of the young generation, the teenagers, right? They have to take care of teenagers. How would they not do that? They have work. They have bills to pay. They have to provide for them as well, right? So they have to go to work. When a teenager reaches that stage where he or she can take care of themselves, they have to help themselves. And be responsible. Parents always take the blame most times.
Because you never know how it is when when you blame the parent. You have to know how it is in their shoes first.
That is it. But what people don't really understand is that parents always take the blame most times. They can't be at two places at once, isn't it? It always looks as if the parents' fault when teenagers misbehave. Right? Most parents have done all they could and cannot handle their teenagers, because the teenagers, and some of them are too hard to handle. Too hard to handle. You understand? But when it's get to that stage, people are looking, who is your parent? Maybe the parents, they failed or something. You see some parents, they start talking, saying that they failed their teenagers. It's not really like they failed them more. It's just that some teenagers are too hard. Do you understand? Because you're giving them that too much freedom.
Giving them too much freedom.
Yeah.
And they've grew up with that freedom, so they'll start thinking that they can do whatever
they want. And when it gets to that stage, they become too hard for the parents to handle them. You understand? Because now they're out of hand, isn't it? This time is behaving. So when people are saying that it's the responsibility of parents to take care of their teenagers, they should also understand that parents are not responsible for their teenagers' behavior sometimes, you know what I mean? So,
yeah, so most times your teenager could be thinking that they have everything planned out and that nothing can go wrong. But as I said before, it will lead to a problem, which will then lead to a bigger problem, because your teenager could be wandering around on the street, as we were saying before, and they'll start thinking, oh, it's fine, I'm not going to get in trouble. And then somebody could just come out of nowhere and just rob something from them or hurt them, and their parent will never know either, because they might not confide in their parent. So it
happens. Yeah, it happens. It happens sometimes. A teenager at school thinking that everything they're planned out, like you said, but sometimes what they planned out or what they're thinking that they are in control of something, you do fail them sometimes. Do you understand what I mean? Because freedom and responsibility, and also it goes in the same direction. Do you understand? So you're giving them that freedom, you're giving them that time, you're giving them that responsibility to go on to achieve stuff. But they themselves, you find out at the end of the day, they feed themselves. We already said that there are some teenagers that you can't manage them, you can't handle them.
Mm-hmm.
It might be parents' responsibility, it might be parents' fault that they gave them that freedom. We're not saying that we shouldn't
that we shouldn't give their children freedom.
Yeah, freedom. You give them freedom, but they have to let them know there's a limit.
Mm-hmm, there's a limit. There's boundaries that you can't cross.
Yeah, you can't cross those boundaries. There are things that you shouldn't do.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? Like, for example, most times you're going out, there's time for you to come back.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have your responsibility. You have things to do.
Yeah.
If the parents entrust that trust in you for you to take care of your younger ones, then you left your younger ones at home and wandering about with your friends. What do you expect those ones to do at home?
Yeah.
Anything happens to them, your mom or your dad is at work to provide for you, and they gave you that little opportunity for you, like being responsible to handle your younger ones, maybe for a couple of hours, for them to come back, because you need pocket money, you buy your shoes, you need to buy your clothes. They are working to get that money to give to you, but only little thing they gave to you to do, just take care of your younger ones.
Yes.
Or just stay at home, take care of yourself.
Yes. So overall, what you're trying to say is that when teenagers ask for freedom and independence, it gives them the ability to like try new things. They can make mistakes, but they'll learn from them. But when parents give their teenagers freedom, they should let them know that freedom comes with responsibility. And as we were saying, that some lines shouldn't be crossed.
Yeah, they shouldn't cross it. We're saying that they shouldn't, because responsibility, we keep saying about responsibility, both parties, that everybody have to keep their own responsibility. Everyone has to keep it. The parents have their own responsibility. The teenager have his or her own responsibility. Do you understand? And the parents have to make it, being the parent, they are in charge. I get what I'm saying. So you said about them not crossing a line. They have to tell them what not to do.
Mm-hmm. They have to set them straight and tell them what they can do and what they can't do.
That is it. Does not mean that they don't have freedom.
Mm-hmm.
They have their own free mind.
They just have to moderate it.
That is it. So everyone have to keep their responsibility. That's what we're saying. So it's good to give freedom and independence to teenagers. It's because parents as well, they need freedom and independence as well. So we're teaching the teenagers how to be independent, and having that freedom does not mean that they will just
do anything
they want. You understand? So they have to make sure that they keep that responsibility as well. That's it. That's what I'll say about it.
Yeah. Thank you for listening and watching this podcast, and please like, share, and share to any of your friends.
Thank you, and don't forget that family is everything.
Thank you.
Thanks.